Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Stop Leaving Money in the Field, the ROI of Jigx Mobile for Acumatica, presented by Glenn Bryant from Jigx. So have just a couple things to go over before we dive in. Not going to take too long, so let me just go over a few things so that we're all ready for the session. So today's session is being recorded, and we're going to send out the recording to you tomorrow afternoon. For those people who were attend and people who weren't able to join us today. So if you just want to review the session, you will get that recording tomorrow afternoon. Everyone has been placed on mute to keep the background noise to a minimum. However, we would love to hear from you. Sound off in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. If you have any questions at any time at all, put them in the chat. You can put them in the Q&A section. That's on the right-hand side of your screen. We'll also run a poll at the end of the session. We have some special offers today, so we'd love to hear from you in the poll. That will also be in the right-hand side of your screen later in the session. And there's some buttons up at the top as well. So that is pretty much everything. There's not too much. We want to get right to today's topic, but questions, chat, we want to hear from you. Just let us know and use those items on the right-hand side of your screen. So with that, I'm going to bring today's presenter on screen, bring Glenn on so that we can dive right into today's topic. I'll hand it off to you.
Thank you so much, Courtney. I appreciate it. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody, depending on where you are joining us from. I work for a company called Jigx. It's not Jigx, it's not Jinx, it's just Jigx. And we build mobile applications. We've built an application called Frontline. And what Frontline is it's an application that allows field services, field sales, folks that are out there in the field working to go out and get their job done more efficiently while using Acumatica as an ERP system. We work very closely with SWK. They are one of our top resellers, and they are the guys who typically build solutions of which Jigx is a part. What we're going to do today, we're going to take a slightly different approach. When we present these sessions, we typically start off with a technical demo. I'm still going to show you a demonstration of the product. But what I'm going to do first is to talk a little bit about some of the value that our customers have told us they've gotten out of the software and what they've seen as a result of using it. One of the very important things is to understand that using these technologies are certainly not a trivial matter. It's certainly something you want to makes your business either more competitive, saves you money, or allows you to provide a better service to the customers you have. The first thing I'll talk about is a customer of ours who has 10 technicians, 10 field services technicians who licensed the software from us and realized a significant savings of about $130,000 in their first year of using the software. And their ROI was almost tenfold in terms of what they spent on licensing. They basically have field services technicians who are going out doing work and using either a combination of documents, paper forms, or PDF files, or they use a disparate amount of different tools to capture information. Once they converted over to Jigx and they started using Jigx, all the data that they were using for those specific calls had been entered into a specific place, one place where it all feeds into the backend that sits on Acumatica. And the net result that they calculated is that each one of their technicians saved about an hour a day in terms of the time that they were spending to either recapture or retool things. And at an average bill rate or a cost of $50 an hour, it worked out to about a $13,000 per year per resource savings. Multiply that by 10 and you have $130,000 in savings. And that's for a relatively small organization. So the ROI in terms of cost savings and value added in terms of adding more time in the day certainly has been valuable. A second customer came back to us and said, listen, we used to take 15 days to collect payments from some of our bigger corporate customers. This specific customer services solar panels up in the northwestern part of the country. And certainly the technicians were submitting these invoices after doing the work. Now, while they were doing this, obviously the customers would go through their normal cycle, but with the ability to use our integration with Acumatica's payments capabilities, those payments were actually signed off and collected and processed directly from the mobile application through Acumatica Pay. And the AR on those dropped from 15 to 3 days for those customers, which meant that cash hit their bank accounts a little faster. And as a result, their collections and their cost of doing business came down significantly. The third customer of ours talked about the fact that they were essentially losing money because sometimes customers would dispute some of the work that they would do. The specific customer services oil and gas pipelines in very remote areas, and they need to be able to show that the jobs were completed. Warranty claims are sometimes necessary to complete these. And again, by using this field services app, which supports a mobile platform and is entirely offline capable, these guys can go out into the field, complete the work, take photos, show before and after. They don't need internet connectivity to be able to upload those images until they get back to a trailer or get back to an area where they do have cell phone coverage. And Jigx automatically synchronizes that information, as well as all the field reports and the information that they capture about the jobs, so that if there are disputes, they've got evidence to say, hey, we did this work, we were there, we put the geotagging onto those as well, and the customer has the ability to see exactly what was done. The net result, some dispute claims and potential revenue loss that was essentially eliminated. Another example we've seen is the value of downtime. Many times when field teams are out in remote areas, we have customers that work in very remote areas in the northern part of the continent, or even in oil rigs or in maritime areas where there isn't any connectivity. The ability for Jigx to work offline has allowed those individuals who are out on these sites to continue doing their work, capture the information that they need, which is stored locally on the mobile device. And then again, as they get to a place where they have connectivity, the information is automatically synced. So the guys are not in a place where, while they're trying to upload or trying to get access to a signal or try to get access to the internet, they're basically stuck. Here, they can continue working and the upload happens automatically and the data gets synchronized automatically as well. And then finally, we've certainly seen customers report the fact that when they use a majority or a combination of different applications, so they have one app for reporting and another app to work with their ERP system or some field checklists, various things that they need to cover, plus they have some manual information that they need to put in, they often have to click around and try and find the right places to enter and capture this information. What we've done with Jigx, and specifically for Frontline, which is our Acumatica app, is we've taken an end user first approach. So to put the tools into a field services resource or a field sales resource's hands, that makes it easy for them to get to almost anything that they need to do within a single click. And that's critical, because if you have the ability to very quickly get to where you want to be and not have to click around in multiple places, you have the ability to get your job done quicker, and the mobile app doesn't get thrown into the back of the truck and guys continue doing their work normally. You want your field services teams to be out there getting things done immediately and actually use the app aggressively. Now, talking about this app, let me actually show you what it looks like. So Courtney, if you don't mind just bringing that share up for us, I'm going to quickly show folks what the actual app looks like. Full disclosure, this is my actual mobile phone that I'm using here. So I'm going to quickly connect to that using my the link. This is a normal Apple iPhone. There's nothing peculiar about it. And I'm currently in the Jigx app. You'll see that Jigx runs as a native app. There's the Frontline app that I've got on my device. And when I log in the morning as a field services technician, the first thing I see is the next appointment that I need to go and do. I can see a whole list of all the appointments that are available for me to do. I can go filter against those. I can see where I need to be. If I need to find something specifically, I can do that as well. Or if I'm working off site or if I'm working after hours, I can actually create an appointment if I need to. I can also see all of this information in a calendar view. So if I wanted to see what my day looks like, what other activities I need to get done, I have that at my fingertips. I have a map that shows me where the customer is. And when I select this specific appointment, you'll see we use this area at the top to actually show you where the customer location is. And if I needed to navigate to the specific customer, Jigx will pick up what navigation tools I have available on my device, and I can use any of those to find my way to the specific customer. It's going to be a little bit of a drive from my house here in Denver to New Jersey, but just to show you that it's available, it'll go and map out the directions for me and tell me how to get to that specific location. Other things that are available immediately is a summary of who the customer is. So if I need to get a hold of the customer, send them a text message, send them an email message, a quick summary of the work that I need to go and do, when I'm scheduled to start, what I need to get done. Again, all of this information is right there under my fingertips. If I have to add some service items or inventory items, we synchronize with Acumatica. So I have all that information right here on my phone. If I need to add an additional item, or if I need to put an additional service into the specific work order, I can do that with no trouble. If I need to go pick something up or go purchase an item, add that to a non-stock item, that option is available for me as well. And I have the ability to update this as I go through my specific job. Most customers just start the job the moment I click on the item and show when I ended. But if I need to capture additional time against the specific job, I can do that. It'll also show me or warn me if the time that I'm capturing is not available. So if I'm capturing time in the past or the future, I can actually go and edit that. I can add items against the specific job that I'm doing for a specific resource. If this is overtime or other time that I'm using, I can actually go capture that as part of the specific solution as well. For this exercise, we're going to skip on that. We're going to just use the normal time entry. And then finally, as we said earlier, if I need to add some images, or if I need to go take a picture of some of the work that I've done, I can actually do that. I can go select a photo. I'll keep a current selection and I'll say I worked on this specific item. I can go and put that into the specific job order. And you'll see as I go through the process, I can annotate those pictures. I can change them. I can make notes. It'll automatically save those. And you'll see it goes from being on my local device to being pushed into Acumatica. So all of that capability under my fingertips as I go through the job. If I needed some additional notes, or if I needed to capture information about what I did, I can capture those. Those get pushed into Acumatica. If I needed to put a drawing or an image or something in here again, very easy to do. If I needed to see a history of all the work that I've done with this customer, so I have the ability to reference what we did previously, I can actually ask Acumatica to go book that back for me. So this is a new customer, so there's no history for them. But any history of a customer that you have available will be available to you here. And then finally, if I have some checklists or forms that I need to complete as part of this job, as part of what we can do with Jigx is we can take any of those forms that you may currently have in a different forms tool or in PDF or Microsoft Word. We can actually put them into a mobile interface. So if you want to say you did certain work in terms of negating hazards, you made sure that you did various checks and you captured information as part of this job. You use some specific tools in order to get that job done. And then you wanted to make sure that you completed a safety check, showing the steps that you took, what you did to deal with those potential hassles or hazards, any recommendations you may have, and then finally, any comments or concerns that you have for this specific job. All of those can be captured into a custom form, which you can include as part of Acumatica's solution, or you can have that separately, write a PDF or generate a report, which you can then share with your customer. And once you've completed that work, you can obviously capture a signature if you need to do that. It will then generate a report. That report gets uploaded, as I said, into Acumatica, and you can actually share this with a customer if you wanted to do that and have that as part of the evidence of the work that you've done. So I've now completed the specific report. I've completed all the work I needed to do. If I'm done with a specific activity, I can go print an appointment summary to show the customer all the work that I've done. Again, I can send this to them via email, or I can send this to them via text, or whatever the case may be. I can complete this task and I can move on with my day and go complete the next activity. So that's what the app looks like. Certainly, we can spend some time showing you a lot more detail as to what Jigx looks like and how it works. But I think that's where we'll stop for now. If you have questions, we'll have some information in a little while where you'll actually be able to see that. So I'm going to go back to the slide deck, if you don't mind, Courtney. So the topic of today's conversation was how much money are you leaving on the table, and that's really what we're trying to illustrate in the session, is to say, if you have folks who are out in the field who are doing work that's billable, and you need to be able to make them more efficient, and you need to give them the tools to get their work done where they can use their mobile devices, regardless of whether it's on an Android or an Apple platform, or whether it's something that's on a mobile phone or even in a tablet format. Jigx can solve that problem for you and provide you with the tools you need to integrate with Acumatica. The money is there to be harvested by adding these efficiencies, by making your teams more productive, by allowing the data that you're capturing to be more efficient so that you don't get callbacks, so that you can show the work that you've done, so that you can bill customers easier and faster, and that you have the ability to provide a better service as you go forward. We would love to share with you a little bit more about what we have. Courtney, we've got some offers and things available to customers who are interested in signing up. There's an opportunity for you to get access to the software. We have some special deals where we are giving customers the access to the software for a period of time at no cost, and we're extending their subscriptions. If you are interested in taking us up on it, please work with your local SWK sales rep. They can certainly put you in touch with us, and we can work with you from there. And again, scan the QR code that's on the screen, and you'll be able to get access to this information quite easily. I think I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to start answering some of the questions that are coming through, Courtney. Let's see what folks have been asking.
Yes, and I hate to have my head now block the QR code, but if the QR code's a little blocked for you right now, we did just launch the poll. So if you look in the right-hand side of your screen, we'd love to hear your responses to the poll. It's a couple different options there if you're not quite ready to take advantage of the 3 months free, or you can click that button at the top of your screen as we go off this slide and transition to Q&A. So we're going to open it up for Q&A now. I have some questions that I had from beforehand sent in, so we'll dive into those. And if you're in the audience and you have a question, put it in the chat, put it in the Q&A. We'd love to answer anything we can for you live. We did just a short, sneak peek today, so there's a lot more to uncover, a lot more to answer. So go ahead and get those questions in, and I will make sure to get an answer from Glenn for you. So the first question I have for you is, can you talk a little bit about how customizable the app experience is for, different roles out in the field or different workflows?
That's a good question. So the Frontline app, you can go to the Apple Store now and you can go download it and see what it looks like. So the basic components of the app allow you to interface with your schedule, your calendar, with inventory, with the work items, the history, the maps, etc. So that's all in there. But many of our customers, in fact, all of our customers so far, have also added some custom user interfaces, those forms that I showed at the end of the demonstration, where they've added their additional fields, additional information that they want to be able to connect to. One of the services we offer to customers is to say, if you want to add the ability to connect to other parts of Acumatica, we can certainly do that. We have some additional add-ons. So for instance, if you have a field services and a field sales team, we have an add-on module for field sales, which again extends it and allows you to talk to some of those additional capabilities that are out there. But the main thing is you have the ability to put these additional forms and this additional UI, whether it integrates with Acumatica or not, you can put them into the mobile app. And we've seen over the past 3 or 4 weeks, a significant number of customers reach out to us to say, hey, we love this Acumatica field services thing. This is great. We want that and we're going to use that. But we also have about 5 or 10 different reports and forms we need to generate for customers. Help us put those into the app so that our guys have everything under their thumbs.
That is great to know. Another question I had was a little bit about the integration with Acumatica. So can you talk about how that integration might work with someone's current Acumatica setup?
Absolutely. So we actually integrate directly with Acumatica using their web services interfaces that they provide, which is a standard capability that they provide to ISVs like ourselves. So what that means is when the mobile app is connected to Acumatica, there's no middle place where the data gets stored. There's no additional layer in terms of communication. So the data is securely stored on the device, within the enclave of the device, and it is then synchronized with Acumatica through those web services. So the data is either in Acumatica or on the phone or on both at the same time. And as I go through my day and I'm using the field services app to update things, we're obviously making incremental changes to that data and pushing it back into Acumatica and vice versa. So if I'm sitting in front of my Acumatica screen using that brand new scheduling tool that they have in 25.1 and things get updated, those changes get pushed down to my device immediately. So I can immediately see, right, this is where I need to be, this is what I need to go do. And as I'm working on a specific job, as I'm entering that data and capturing it, if I'm connected to the internet, the data from the phone synchronizes. So we use a very simple, straightforward communication with Acumatica and their web services, very easy to talk to and to communicate with, which means you don't end up with data synchronization issues or issues with people not being able to access the system because it's offline.
That sounds like that could save a lot of follow-up work and re-entry and such to have that data pass through.
Yeah, absolutely. And the app doesn't stop working if you're offline. In other words, if you're in the middle of doing something and the connectivity goes away, a web app or a PWA, as folks call it, or a hybrid app, will sometimes stop working because it's trying to talk to this website or something in the back end. We don't have that issue because we have this offline architecture. The app just keeps doing what it's supposed to do, like your music app on your device or your email client on your device.
Great. And so, if someone is offline for, any period of time, that data is still going to be passed over.
Exactly. So the moment they get connectivity, we unfortunately are not in a position where we can bend the laws of physics yet. So if they're physically not connected to the internet in any way, whether it's through cell phone or Wi-Fi, the data stays on the phone. But the moment they get connectivity again, the synchronization happens automatically.
Great to know. We had someone submit a question about, usability. So this person asked, what level of training do field users typically need before they're up and running?
That's a great question. We initially thought that, we initially sold a training package as part of Jigx. And the hilarity is nobody ever used it because most people who use mobile phones these days across the spectrum are able to use a mobile phone. They use everything from social media to various apps on their devices. So we found with most folks, if you use a highly proprietary mobile interface to an ERP system and there's 20 clicks that you have to do in order to get something done, then yes, you need to be trained so you know where to click. But again, because we've taken this approach to make things super intuitive, get access to everything within one click and make it very predictive in terms of what you need to do next. When you start the job, this is what you need to do next. When you complete this, this is what you need to do next. Most of our customers find that their users are up and running within an hour or two of using the app. It's really designed to make it simple. It's harder sometimes to learn what to do and what not to do in Acumatica than it is to just use the mobile app, which is ideal, right? Because you don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time training people to use a tool that they're going to need every single day if you can make it intuitive and make it easy and help them just get their job done.
Yeah, well, and for me, getting to see the tool today live, it looks very simplistic and streamlined and clear to navigate. So, I can imagine how you guys that is a funny problem to run into if that's ease of training. So that's great to hear. I think we've got our last question from the audience. So this person asked a little bit about security. So they said, there's always a security concern when implementing mobile solutions. Can you talk a little bit about, how that works with Jigx?
Yeah, absolutely. So firstly, to go back to what I talked about earlier, because we are not assisting the data anywhere else, we're not storing the data in some database or something that's outside of Acumatica. The security really rests on two sides of the coin. The first side of the security is really the security of the device. And the data that is stored on the actual device is obviously protected by the operating systems and the tools that are provided by Apple and by Android in terms of securing the data that's local on the device. And that is fairly well defined and well documented, and you can go read up about how secure those enclaves are. But then the second piece of the security is that we actually use the same security setup. So whether you're using something like SSO or specific tools on the Acumatica side to authenticate, we don't introduce a second or a third tier there, which can add complexity. We use the security that Acumatica provides. So your data, when your users are logging into it, they're actually authenticating against your Acumatica instance. You can see who's using it. The app is interfacing with Acumatica on that specific user's behalf, just like the web interface would have been interfacing with it. And then again, all of the Acumatica data is protected by the security that they provide on their side with their cloud infrastructure. So the ability to sort of hack the system is very, very small. It's minuscule, in fact, because no data passes between the phone and Acumatica without a direct connection. There's nothing else that messes that up, essentially. And the authentication, the security that's provided, is exactly the same as you would use when you sit in front of your computer and you log in against an Acumatica instance.
Awesome. Great to know. I think that is, unless we have a last minute submission, I think that is our final question for the Q&A. So right on time for our 30-minute session today. So we just want to say a quick thank you. Personally, I want to thank you, Glenn, for a really informative presentation. It was great to see Jigx in action on the mobile view and all the other ways that it provides ROI for those field services teams. If you want to take advantage of the summer offer and get those 3 months free, or just, get a demo, learn more, talk specifically about Jigx and how it will work with your specific Acumatica setup, your specific, field service operations, any of those things, fill out the form on the link at the top of the page, or you can always reach us at info@swktech.com. We'll be happy to connect you with Glenn and his team, or let your SWK rep know. They will put you in contact with the right people, and so you can see a bit about Jigx and specifically how to work for you. So with that, thank you all. Thank you for taking a bit of your time out of your day today to be with us. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you, Glenn and Jigx.
Thanks, Courtney. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.